Hello and welcome to Bloodhouse, the show where we talk about art house horror film. I'm Joshua Conkle.
And I'm Drusilla Adeline.
And with us today, we have a very special guest. He's my buddy, artist, and writer, Christian Tucci. Hi, Christian. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Very icy cold day today. It's 52 degrees in Los Angeles, so it's like being in Quebec.
Oh, lay off. This is still summer weather for me.
We're all in our sweaters and cozy things. Christian, how are you? What's been going on? What have you been doing? Watching, reading, anything?
I'm good. I don't know. I've just been working, drawing, writing. I don't know. What do I watch lately? I've been watching Severance, which I'm really liking. Josh, we were talking, and you keep falling asleep during it, but I really think it's. I think it's really beautiful.
I do too. Don't let that make you think that I don't like it, because I like it very much. I watch it in bed. It's like the thing that I watch at night. So I've taken a melatonin. I'm in my underwear and under a duvet with a dog. So I'm 3 for 3 in falling asleep in Severance episodes. But that's okay, because it just means that I get to split each episode up over 2 nights.
I really like it though. It's a really good. I really like I just like the tone. I like that it's like. I don't know. It's not a thriller. It's not quite horror.
I think Ben Stiller is a good director, actually.
Yeah.
I'll go to bat. It's really well done. I mean, the aesthetic of it is really cohesive. The tone is cohesive. The actors are. I mean, Patricia Arquette is great in it.
I'm a little. I do find a little pause where I'm like, what? I never really know what decade it's set in, and I don't know if that's intentional or not.
I think it's intentional, and I think it's meant to be like timeless or out of, like an alternate history is my assumption. But I don't know. I'm not. You'd have to ask Ben Stiller. Drusilla, how are you? What's going on?
I'm very good. I'm very happy. My car's out of the shop, so I'm cruising around LA in my crazy freaking Jaguar again.
It's
very
so beautiful. That. What did you name your car again? Remind me.
I named my car Grimsdyke because A, that name is amazing, but B, it's an 87 black and chrome Jaguar, so it's goth as fuck. But also, I wanted to name it something like rooted in it being from 87. So like, I was like, maybe I'm gonna name it like Withnell or like Walker or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I landed on my favorite teen vampire movie, My Best Friend is a Vampire, in which one of the vampire hunters' name is Grimsdyke, and I was like, that is so goth and gay. I love it. That's the car. That's my car now.
Yeah. It reminds me very much of Elvira's car in Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I haven't seen it in person, just photos, but that's the vibe I get from it.
I wish. One day we'll get there, and one day I will get the chain steering wheel, and it will be complete.
Yeah, that chains, I mean, that's so good. And I hope that you at some point drop a nacho down your cleavage like she does.
Assuming that I have not already. It's been
that's
a good week,
the inciting incident of that whole movie, is her dropping a cheetah or a nacho down her boobs and getting into a car accident.
That's so good.
Sorry, what did you ask me?
I mean, this is correct, and these are things that have happened to me. However, I have not had the wonderful hijinks that she has had, nor have I punked out a small dog yet. But there's still time.
There is time.
Edie will look great with a mohawk. I'm just saying.
I actually just bought a pearl necklace for Edie.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Oh my god.
I guess I had done it in my sleep. I had Googled pearl necklaces for dogs. And I woke up to find that I had Googled. That was the last thing I Googled on my phone. And I was like, well, I better come through on this.
Your subconscious has ideas.
Yeah.
She's going to rip it off and then start choking on it.
She's not a very sophisticated lady, truth be told, so I think you might be right.
I just love the idea of getting Edie to look like a little Lisa Simpson. I think it's so cute.
Oh my god, I didn't think of that. I've also been getting into like buying her, like vintage shops will have antique scarves, like Hermes scarves and stuff, like little things like that. So I'm trying a little harder. I mean, Tika the Iggy, who's the most famous Italian greyhound probably from Instagram, she's 15 years old and Edie's not even 4. So I figure I have time.
She needs,
she can get into her spinster phase later.
Yeah.
I need that season of Succession.
Yeah. Drusilla, have you been watching anything good?
I mean, I've been dipping into some spaghetti westerns. Again.
Oh, that's something I don't know anything about.
I love them, and it's weirdly always like what I do in like the winter months is I somehow always get back into westerns for no reason. So I've been watching a lot of the Sartana movies from merry old Italy, and they're a delight. I mean, he's super hot, he's super gay in at least the first movie. But I just watched, and I need to get the title correct because it's freaking insane. It's billed as Sartana the Gravedigger occasionally, but it's also known as I Am Sartana, Your Angel of Death. And Klaus Kinski's in it, and it has a very Lady from Shanghai inspired end scene for a Western. It's nuts. I love it. I love those movies, and there's like 3 more in like a box set of them that I have. So that's going to be my next month probably, is just delving into these like very weird offbeat spaghetti westerns.
Yeah. Have we talked about Klaus Kinski on the pod yet? I love him. This is
shockingly not.
Yeah, I just rewatched the Werner Herzog Nosferatu with Klaus Kinski, and I think I'm going to go out on a limb. I think him in that movie is my favorite Dracula.
Really?
Yeah.
Also, kudos for using Dracula as a catch-all for vampire. I love that.
I meant like literally Dracula. I mean, I think he might be Orlok, but like literally the person Dracula.
Nothing pleases me more than someone being like, I'm being chased by a Dracula. And it's like, yes.
That is so funny to me when people are like, she's a Dracula.
I love that. I love it so much.
It's so funny to me. I haven't really been watching anything because this is really nerdy and probably alienating to a certain sector of people, but the video game Elden Ring came out this week. I've been just playing that around the clock, which is like punishingly difficult and very frustrating. And there's no like easy setting or anything. So you just have to bear it. So yeah, I'm like running around being a dork in Elden Ring, but I did see this cool movie that I hadn't heard of, Drusilla, but maybe you have. And when I watched it, I was like, oh, I saw this as a child and it's in my like, kinder trauma files.
Oh my God.
It's a slasher from 1981 called Just Before Dawn.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I tweeted about it,
slasher.
Yes, it's like if Deliverance were like a true slasher movie, and it has like Inbred Family, Texas Chainsaw Massacre mixed with Deliverance, and it's really scary. And I tweeted about it, and I was like, I don't know if I was just in a vulnerable place, but this movie really scared me. And all these people were like, oh yeah, that's like a hidden gem. It's really good. So I think it's on Shudder is where I watched it, and it's called Just Before Dawn, and I think everyone should watch it.
I need to track it down. Yeah, I've known about it for a while because Vinegar Syndrome put it out, I think. And I think 88 put it out. And I was always like, oh, I'm not really big into slashers, so, I'll probably skip that. I don't know. But the more I've been hearing about it from people, especially, and then from you recently, I'm like, okay, no, I need to see this.
Yeah, Brad Henderson is one of the people from Vinegar Syndrome is one of the people that responded to me, and he's like, nope, that's a very scary movie. And it's not perfect. I mean, like any slasher from 1981, it's very sleazy. I mean, it's such a trashy era. And again, I don't mean that pejoratively. It just is. It is what it is. It's like very sexist and sleazy and all that sort of stuff. But it's very scary and a lot of fun. And I think people should watch it. But
I would prefer a slasher be sleazy than slow, which is what most of them are. So
yeah,
give me the sleaze, please.
Yeah. We're not here to talk about Just Before Dawn. We are here to talk about from 1973 by director Nicholas Roeg, Don't Look Now.
You're sad. You're so sad, and there's no need to be. I've seen her.
My sister's psychic.
You can't contact people, can you? She's trying to get in touch with us.
So, Christian, what's your history with this movie? When did you first see it? And again, before you even start, we are not spoiling the ending because it's majorly a thing.
Okay.
But go off.
But go off.
Go Orf.
I actually read the book first, which is interesting. It was assigned to me. I took a class in college, which was women's novels into men's film was like the title of the class.
Interesting.
So
I love that idea. Like, period.
The idea was amazing. The class never touched gender or anything. Like, never touched it. It was clearly like the teacher just like assembled that as the thing of the unit, but then just didn't bother. Anyway,
right.
Shout out to Micah, where I went to school.
Yes, Christian and I are both art school girls. That's one of our bonds.
But so I read the book first, and I must have taken this class in 2011, I think. And then a few weeks later, watched the movie, and definitely like did not. I don't know. Even with reading the book first, like I just feel like I didn't get it. When I first watched this movie, I think the movie. I mean, it's just. Also, my taste level I think was so different too, but it was just like such a slow, long, dreadful burn that I think I just got so impatient because I was like I must have been 20, you know.
Right.
But my God, like it is exactly the type of movie I like cherish and adore right now. It's so
I
good.
associate this movie with you for some reason. That's interesting that they didn't touch upon the subject of like women's books, and because by the way, listeners, it's a Daphne du Maurier story. Yeah. I should have mentioned that in the intro. But I guess technically Nicholas Roeg is a man or was a man, but I don't think of him as like I don't think of this as a particularly like male gaze kind of movie at all, which is what that class title suggests to me.
Yeah, it did suggest that like there would be like a huge kind of perspective shift, and I don't feel that at all.
No, so. I've read the book too. It's a very faithful adaptation, if not a little abstracted through Nicholas Roeg's sense of editing and stuff like that. But Drusilla, when did you come across this?
I watched this in high school, so this was in my phase of watching whatever I could find from the library that looked interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the original poster for this, which was like the old DVD cover of the like family photo of the two of them leaking blood out, I was like, that's cool. And I'd already seen a handful of Rogue movies. I'd probably seen Man Who Fell to Earth. I'd probably seen maybe Walkabout or maybe Insignificant. I'd seen at least like
you didn't mention his children's movie.
The Witches?
Which you surely had seen, no?
I've never seen The Witches in full.
Drusilla, it's amazing.
I know, and I'm a giant Roald Dahl fan. I also have like a hand-painted VHS cover, like on a block of wood, of The Witches in my bedroom that a friend gave me. And I still need to see the movie. Anyway, I still never seen The Witches. I'll get around to it. I feel like I missed the window.
Yeah, no, it's very appealing as an adult still. Sorry if anyone hears my dog tap dancing in the background. She wants to play, and I'm not going to let her.
But yeah, I was drawn in by Rogue, and like I don't know, Donald Sutherland's very hot in this movie. And I grew up with like Animal House and like Donald Sutherland being in everything, so I was like, oh, cool, I'll be into this. And so, I watched it after school, like came over from high school, did my homework, sat down on the couch, put on Don't Look Now, loved the opening, promptly fell asleep, like 40 minutes in, and then woke up at the ending twist reveal. So that was ruined for me.
Yeah. I watched this probably sophomore year of college with my boyfriend Keenan at the time, and he knew about this movie. I didn't know about this movie, and I think I probably found it pretty but also a little boring at the time. until the ending, which we're not going to spoil, but the last few moments of this movie really took my breath away, like knocked me on my ass, because they are so weird and shocking and you could never predict them in a million years. And somebody asked me recently, what movie, if I could choose a movie to see again for the very first time, what would it be? And my answer was Don't Look Now, because that once you've seen the ending once, you've seen it and it doesn't have that same impact. But I have found that with repeat viewings of this movie, my appreciation for it deepens and deepens and deepens. And now it's a movie that I psychotically love. It's in my top 10 easily.
I would say the exact same thing about if I could rewatch a movie for the very first time, fresh, clean. It would be Don't Look Now, because I missed that experience of being shocked and weirded out and surprised by the ending.
Yeah.
By waking up at the ending and then rewatching the movie. So I never got that. Like, I never got that build. I never got that mystery. I never got the, like, I never got to follow. I never got to put the clues together and then have the rug pulled out from under me. I only got the opening, snoozing through Venice, and then that. And I feel robbed of an experience. I've since watched it many times, and, like, I've had that experience of, like, finding all of the, like, beautifully woven, like, stuff in between.
Yeah.
But I missed that initial shock, and it's disappointing.
Yeah. Well, let me give a quick synopsis for this, just off the top of my head, as I do. So Donald Sutherland and the beautiful, fabulous Julie Christie play John and Laura, a couple who is having a relaxing day at their country estate in England. Just, you know, the parents are inside pursuing their hobbies and work, and the kids are outside playing. And Donald Sutherland is looking at a slide of a 16th century church that he's about to go restore in Italy. And in this slide, from the back, you see somebody in a red hooded coat, which disturbs him, and he doesn't know why. Meanwhile, outside, his little girl Christine in her red slicker is playing with the ball, and we're cutting back and forth between really quickly in this way that's very disorienting and strange. And suddenly Donald Sutherland shoots up because he has bad vibes. He runs outside to the yard, and lo and behold, his little girl has drowned in the pond. This is a very famous segment from the movie that Drusilla hinted at, because of the way that it's edited. But basically you cut to 6 months or a year later. It doesn't really say how long. And John and Laura have relocated to Venice, Italy, so that John can work on this, restoring this church. And at lunch one day, they meet an elderly pair of sisters who are on tour from England. And one of them is blind, and she's a psychic. And she tells Laura that, I can see your little girl, and she's laughing. And this changes Laura immediately. She becomes happier, lighter, all of that. But at the same time, it upsets John, and he doesn't really know why. And so things kind of unravel from there, I guess, is what I would say. Anything to add or amend to that synopsis?
I would also add that there is, a certain sense of supernatural or not unease throughout the movie, and also a series of unexplained deaths in Venice as well.
Yes, I guess I should. That is important. Thank you. There are in the background, sometimes not even discussed, there are all these murders happening in Venice and bodies being drug up. So John and Laura will be walking, and in the background you'll see a police boat. Everything is on boats in this movie because it's in Venice. Literally pulling a dead body out of the canals while, people stand around and watch. So that's happening in the background as well.
I like how you say it as if it's a criticism of the movie, when it's like,
it's all on boats.
It's a criticism of Venice, if anything. Like, Christian and I actually rewatched this together, and I was like, God, can you imagine having to move apartments in Venice? It would be such a pain in the dick. Everything is on boats. Ambulance. There's an ambulance at some point. It's a boat ambulance. There's a police boat. It's such a pain in the ass. And apparently, everyone knows that Venice is sinking, but I heard on a podcast recently that people are abandoning Venice. Actually, like every year, more and more people abandon Venice. So yeah, this is such a cliche to say. People say it about New York movies all the time. Venice is a character in this movie. It is like very much a character in this movie.
Absolutely.
It's interesting because one of the most recent times I watched Don't Look Now was actually for a different podcast recording. However, we ended up not recording that episode of the podcast because there was a dog who was ill, and so we weren't able to do it. The dog is fine. She's doing very well.
DoesTheDogDie.com.
However, we ended up not recording the podcast. So I watched it taking like vigorous notes, and my ex was there in the room with me at the time and was like, "What are you watching?" And like came in and sat down and was like, "This is set in Venice, but this does not look like Venice at all." They're like, "I've been to Venice. It's like so busy. It's so packed. It's so crowded. This movie looks like a nuclear bomb went off. Like there's no one there. There's just them, and then this old British couple, and then later a cop." And then every other person you see is like a body being dragged from the river.
Yeah.
There's just no one there. It's really, really eerie.
Christian, you've been to the Venice, right?
To the Venice, yeah. I will say I have been to Venice, and it is, whatever. It's crowded. But I do know that they specifically filmed most of this movie like as if I know that. I don't know that city, but like wherever like it's like purely just like residential and like it's not a tourist area because they're like they knew they needed it to be empty and also just and I think like when they there's so many scenes when they're walking or running through these tiny little narrow alleys, I guess there's like hardly any like store signage or anything like that either, so I think they like very deliberately like moved away from where any tourists would go in Venice, except for like scenes in like on the Grand Canal or whatever.
They use the city to disorient you too, as well as the characters who are constantly getting lost in these narrow alleyways and going the wrong way and having to turn around and go back. And like, there's a lot in this movie about time and memory. Of course, you sort of start to understand, and it's eventually said by the two old women psychics that John is psychic, but doesn't know it, or at least is trying to deny it. And so also he starts to see in Venice somebody in his daughter's, or what he thinks is his daughter's, red coat. And so he's like, either he's having visions of his daughters like these old women are, or something else is happening. So it's very disorienting.
I think it would be remiss for us to not point out the location being Venice is deliberately because of water. There's a motif of water and death and water.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's why we're in Venice.
You get a lot of water.
Where they could go to Hungary.
Totally. You get a lot of water, you get a lot of mirrors, and you get a lot of broken glass.
Yeah.
And it's very deliberate water choices too, because the death of the child at the beginning of the Daphne du Maurier novel, or I guess short story, is through meningitis. She's just sick and dies. But in the Roeg movie, she drowns in like a really shallow riverbed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the rain. Like
right.
He cranks it up.
Water, I guess, I mean, what do we think water symbolizes? For me, I guess I come from like the perspective of reading tarot. Like water is the subconscious and emotion and kind of mystery. What is your reading on that?
I kind of have this reading. I think in the context of this movie, I have this reading of cycles and looping and kind of like eternity, as water does, because I think that's tied into we examine like this kind of like looping in life, and it feels like their chasing is going in circles as well too. It feels like, I mean, the character John has this superpower, this ability to like kind of see almost like in like an interstellar kind of way, just like life in a whole life cycle in many parts, and kind of see the past and the present and the future all combined as one. And so I think that's my read on the excessive use of, because we get water like, as the sea, as a lake, as rain. So I think we also see water in a lot of different states too. So
yeah, Nicholas Roeg seems to have a thing about time, because there's another moment in The Man Who Fell to Earth, which is a great sci-fi movie starring David Bowie, based on one of my favorite sci-fi novels. But there's a moment where David Bowie's character is being driven through the countryside, and then all of a sudden he looks out the window and he sees peasants from like 200 years ago working in the fields, but they can see him too. They all stop their work and look up and are just sort of, aghast or agog at a car, which presumably they've never seen. And then just like that, the moment's over, and the movie never comments on it.
that's great.
And so a lot of this movie feels sort of the same vibes. Like, is John psychic, or is he in and out of time in some way? Or is he, you know what I mean? And it's also using the architecture of the city to explore that kind of stuff. There's also the motif of like mirrors. So a lot of times somebody will be standing in front of a mirror, but there's mirrors on all sides of them. So they'll be presented with, multiple reflections of themselves, which kind of feels like the fragmented self, or like alt versions of the self. It's such a beautiful, thoughtful movie. I mean, this for me is a movie that doesn't really miss a step. Like it's basically a perfect movie as far as I'm concerned. I can't think of any quibbles at all.
I think both the water motif and the kind of visual refractions that we get a lot of throughout the film in the mirrors and through the water reflections are really additionally, like from a formalist standpoint, also built into the way Roeg cuts the movie too, which is like very famous. And that's kind of like an editing rhythm he had in all of his movies. And the thing that's like kind of the like seed of the entire movie, both from like a thematic, narrative, and structural, oh my god, way, are like the beginning of the movie when Donald Sutherland is looking through the slides and sees the red hooded figure in the church. He spills a glass of water on the slide, and it just smears out.
Right.
And the red coat
bloody smear over the image of the church. And that's kind of what happens with the movie. It's this fluid kind of like continuous warping and reforming into new thoughts and ideas. And the movie itself breaks up and comes back together, and like time moves and shifts and scenes happen that feel mysterious, and then they happen again later with new context, and it all flows into itself again. And that's an editing rhythm that Roeg has in every single one of his movies. And so bringing that to this Du Maurier story is perfect. Like no one else could have made this movie.
And as wild as that ending is, they're hinting at it from the very opening scene constantly. So it's all again tied into time and John's perhaps psychic ability. Christian, were you going to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, I think also, tied into this theme of time, and warping it and refracting it. Like, I mean, the title alone is like literally telling you, like, do not assume this is the present. Like, don't look now.
Yeah.
Like, look in the past, into the past, or into the future, whatever. And I think, I don't know, it's the title like almost like adds this other confounding layer where, because at first I thought this title was more about like sight, like we were like supposed to like look into like the sight aspect, because we do have that one sister who's blind, and she has like these, she outwardly has these psychic abilities where John's are maybe more in question, but I'm just like, no, especially now that we're talking, I'm like, this title is about the present, like the time, and the time like being scrunched up together and then like unwound. But
I can also see the title referring to the idea of sight as well, because there's the kind of like second sight supernatural idea that kind of ties into an idea of like faith throughout the movie. Of John rejecting this. He refuses to believe these things that he's seeing. He refuses to believe this blind woman who's apparently psychic, and he gets
and telling him to leave Venice.
Yeah, and he's very, very upset that Julie Christie's kind of buying into this.
Mm-hmm.
He's like outwardly atheist, despite the fact that he's like restoring churches. And there's a big kind of faith clash there, which is, again, it's set in Venice, Italy. We are not far from the Vatican, and much of this movie is set in churches or dealing with the overt supernatural, and is all about him constantly shutting down all of these forms of faith and otherworldliness.
And the literally decaying of a church, as a backdrop, like quite literally. This is a very sophisticated episode of Bloodhouse.
Yeah, pinkies are out this episode.
Yes, wow. We're all wearing our turtlenecks and berets. When they intro the...
something less, we can talk about how hot Donald Sutherland is.
Yeah, we can get sleazy here for a second.
We do have to talk about the sex scene, but before we get there, I want to talk about the scene where they first meet the old lady psychics, because basically this blind lady, her sister gets something in her eye, so Julie Christie helps them into the ladies' room, where of course they're refracted a million times by a wall of mirrors. But I wrote down in my notes Long Island Medium, because I don't know if you've ever seen that reality show, but it's essentially what they're doing is a Long Island Medium. So Long Island Medium, Teresa Caputo will go up to random people in the grocery store and be like, have you lost your father? Just like people that she doesn't know. I have a message from you. And that's essentially what this old woman is doing. And she's like, I saw your little girl between you and your husband. I saw her long golden hair. She was laughing. She's happy. She wants you to know that she's happy. Do you guys believe in psychics at all? Like, what's your woo-woo level on that?
I wouldn't outwardly say I don't believe in psychics, but I don't believe any of the psychics that go on TV.
No.
So you're Sylvia Brown.
Sylvia Brown! Christian is obsessed with Sylvia Brown, who I grew up loving. I would always watch Psychic Wednesdays, they were called, on Montel, because the psychic Sylvia Brown would be on. And
that's so good.
She's so brutal. They'd be like, my father went missing 10 years ago, and she'd be like, he's dead.
Yeah.
With her like deep smoker.
Don't worry about it, he's dead. Move on.
Yeah, exactly.
And get your thyroid checked.
R.I.P. Sylvia Brown, you would have loved Don't Look Now. Drusilla, where are you on this? Are you a believer, or are you a John, or are you a Laura?
It's interesting. So since I was very young, I've had like crazy deja vu, and premonitions all my life, like through dreams and stuff. And it was the kind of thing I would like talk about, and people were like, "Yeah, we all get deja vu." And I was like, "No, I saw this exact same thing happening 8 years ago in a dream, and I thought about it for months after that, forgot about it, and then it literally happened in that exact perspective." And people were like, "Whatever."
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've had more concrete, I guess, experiences and discussions with people related to other supernatural things, like, I guess, ghosts and things like that, where I'm like, okay, yeah, I've got a bit of a belief in things like that. But I've never met anyone who claims to be psychic that I buy into. However, I've had plenty of my own experiences.
Absolutely.
Where I've had many, 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 many things that happen to me that are completely unexplained, where I'm just like, all right. I had a friend who did not believe in the supernatural, found me discussing ghost encounters that happened to in the house that we shared silly and ridiculous, and got mad at me for discussing them. Yet at the same time, he would frequently discuss the past life intrusions that he would have.
Yeah.
Of him being a soldier in Vietnam and being viciously gunned down in Vietnam, and having nightmares about it all the time, having it just seep into his life like Billy Pilgrim and Slaughterhouse-Five, and having severe flashbacks while watching The Deer Hunter and stuff like that. And I'm and you don't believe in anything else like that? Okay.
There is a phenomenon. I wish I could remember the name of this, but it's pretty well documented. Not scientifically documented, but there are a lot of stories where people will be walking down a street in a city, and then suddenly they're on that same street 100 years ago, like the Man Who Fell to Earth scene, and not like they're picturing it, like suddenly they are there, and then just like that, it's gone, and it's like a time lapse. And it's, there's lots of stories about it. And I love that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'm the same as you, Drusilla. I've had many, many psychic readings that are all kind of bad. At least, I mean, the best like tarot readings are by people who don't claim that they're psychic. Like I can read tarot as a hobby, and I think I'm good at it, but I don't claim to be psychic. But I think, to your point, like everyone is maybe a little bit psychic, like I think all of us have mothers or grandmothers who kind of were into that, or, like, I don't know. So I'm with you. Anyway, she's like Long Island medium. And
that being said, if what happened to Julie Christie in this movie happened to me, I would absolutely be buying into that 100%. As well. 100%.
Same. Yep.
Yeah. Julie Christie, I don't think anyone has ever looked so beautiful in a movie as she does in this. Yeah. Just, I mean, an amazing actress too, not to discredit her talent, but just what a beauty. Her coat is beautiful. Her hair is voluminous and gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And there's so many movies about unhappy marriages and everything that comes with that. But what's nice about this movie is that you can tell from the opening scene that they're very much in love. And even when their daughter dies, they're really trying to keep it together because they love each other very much. The performances feel very unself-conscious, very lived in, very intimate. There's a great scene, and I guess this will lead into the sex scene. There's a great scene where they are naked in the bathroom together. He's like brushing his teeth naked at the sink, and she's, I think, taking a bath. And so they're naked, and it just feels so natural. And she's like, "Oh, you're getting your love handles back." And he like sort of laughingly squeezes his love handles. And it's just, it feels so truthful and so natural and kind and not exploitative, which I guess leads into the sex scene, which is very famous and probably, for my money, the greatest sex scene ever filmed, where this leads into them having sex. It's very convincing and realistic, to the point where people have argued or suggested that it was real sex. And then that's intercut with them getting dressed to go out to an event, to this beautiful piano music, I think. Yeah. It's so beautiful. And anytime some ding dong on Twitter gets online and says like, "Oh, I hate sex scenes, they never move the story forward," this is the one that I think about, because it absolutely is essential to the movie. Yeah. It's really beautiful. It's so special and good. And at the time, I feel like I'm talking a lot. Sorry. Julie Christie was dating Warren Beatty, and he saw a cut of this and like was so furious because he was convinced that they were really having sex, and he actually tried to get Warner Brothers not to release the movie. Yeah.
Paramount, first of all.
Paramount, sorry, thank you.
Which he apparently partially successfully did because it didn't have a huge US release. Additionally, he was at a party with Nicholas Roeg like a year or two later, and very calmly and casually came up to him and said, "Hey, let's go out back and let's have a chat." And Nicholas Roeg was like, "Okay, cool. You're Warren Beatty. This is going to be great." And Warren Beatty proceeded to just immediately punch him in the face.
Shit.
Oh my God.
Because Warren Beatty had also heard a rumor that because they shot the sex scene for like almost an entire day.
Wow.
That there was an even more explicit cut of that sex scene that Roeg kept for himself as a quote porn cut. So not only believing that it was fully unsimulated, but that Roeg like kept a lurid version for himself. And so Beatty punched him out at a party and then walked back inside.
I mean, I will say it's very convincing. I noticed one shot where they're kissing, but I noticed on Julie Christie's ribs that there was saliva. Like he had just been kissing that part of her. You know what I mean? It's that realistic. Yeah. Were you going to say something, Christian? I'm sorry.
But I don't know if this is it. I just feel like I remember once hearing that part of the reason that we get this fragmented sex scene is also because to like navigate censorship and to get around like showing like very like explicit like humping or whatever. Nicholas Roeg utilized this very artistic editing in order to like augment the sex scene and keep it it feels both explicit but still like quite like mysterious almost. Like it feels so private.
Yeah, to me it feels very kind, actually. I feel like it's maybe one of the most explicit sex scenes I've ever seen in a non-pornographic or Skinemax movie, but I feel like it would be hard to claim that this was exploitative or pornographic or anything like that.
What feels so, I mean, I don't know, what feels explicit to me about this sex scene is that because it feels so real, it truly feels like a moment that like no one else was supposed to be watching. Whereas like most sex scenes in movies feel like they're made for a camera to watch, and porn literally is that. So it feels so different than like watching anyone else have sex that I've watched in my life.
Well, that's why the suggestion of your college class that this movie is like a man's movie didn't really sit right with me. And apparently you didn't talk about that. So the class maybe wasn't suggesting that. And that's only my instinct.
Maybe this was the one meant to be the one class where it was like, well, that one passed the test.
Yeah. I wrote down, there's a scene that I really love in this where the priestess of the church asks Laura, Julie Christie, if she's a Christian, and she says that she's not sure, but she is kind to animals and children, which I thought was like such a lovely answer and sort of like, speaks to my own spirituality a little bit, where it's just like, I'm not a Christian, but I just try to be nice and do the right thing. There's like a real clash between these two characters and what they believe in and their sense of the mysterious or divine. That's so beautiful. I was thinking about how this movie stars Donald Sutherland, and of course he was in a million things and was a huge star in the 70s. But because of my age, I was used to Kiefer Sutherland as the famous one. And I remember seeing Buffy the Vampire Slayer when it came out. So I was like 11 maybe. And Donald Sutherland is in it. And I was like, why does he have the same last name as Kiefer Sutherland? And somebody was like, he's his dad. And I was like, it's so weird that Kiefer Sutherland's old dad is in a movie. You know what I mean? And now it's so funny to think back on that because I love 70s movies and Donald Sutherland, but I don't think I'd ever seen him in a movie when I was a kid. Yeah.
That's so funny to me because I am both younger than you and had the opposite experience. I grew up watching like Animal House and like Kelly's Heroes and The Dirty Dozen because that's the stuff that my mom and dad had on. And so I was always like, Donald Sutherland's so funny and he's tall and hot and he shows his ass in Animal House. Cool. And then I was like 14 and my mom was like, you need to watch The Lost Boys. You'll love it. And I was like, why is his last name like Donald Sutherland? She was like, it's because it's his kid. I was like,
yeah, I realize that mine is not the normal way to experience the Sutherlands.
But it is for our generation.
For kids of the 80s. Like and when I was a little boy in the 80s, the 70s felt so disgusting that you just like didn't want to look at it. Truly, no, like if you were at the school library and you see a book cover from the 70s, you're like, this feels like it was from 100 years ago. Everything's brown and orange. The clothes were so night and different than the clothes that people wore in the 80s. It just felt so icky that like I didn't see 70s movies until the 90s because it just was like a wall between the 70s and 80s that you like didn't cross. And then of course the 70s became very trendy in the 90s, which like really perplexed my parents. And I remember buying an ABBA record at a thrift store when I was in junior high in the 90s and then being like, ABBA, ugh, God, you know, and like kids wearing bell bottoms in the 90s, they were like, God, ugh. Now I think that the 70s are a much cooler decade just across the boards than the 80s in most ways. But yeah, I just thought it was a funny thing. This movie has a lot of like really funny touches to me based on my age, I guess. Like I wrote down, it's so funny that the old lady psychic's name is Heather.
Yeah.
Which feels like such a Valley Girl name. I guess I don't know if in the early 70s Heather was like a weirder, quirkier name than it eventually became, but it just made me laugh when I was like, Heather.
Or like,
oh
does
my
Heather
God.
have a history of like being like like a old lady's name? I don't know. I feel like it doesn't. I can't like think of like old Heathers besides.
It is very Valley Girl. Like, I have a cousin named Heather, and she is like what do you imagine a Heather to be like? I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was like, is it like the name Hazel, which was an old lady's name that disappeared and then became like a trendy baby name in the 2010s
Even
or whatever.
Like Olivia, I feel like was an old lady's name, and now it's
very
like
much.
Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah. I mean, in the 2000s and the 2010s, I feel like it became really hipstery to name your baby some like old person's name, like Harry or Opal Gladys or whatever.
Wait, what was I just watching? There's someone named Gladys. I can't remember, but
I feel like I just experienced that too. I don't know. Like my name Josh is like such an early 80s name.
It's a Gilded Age. But that's an old lady. But she's young. But
that's an old lady. Yeah.
Gladys is like how you need to tell the audience that a character is an old British woman. You name her Gladys.
Exactly.
Right. So speaking of the 70s and Italy, this movie came out in 1973. It is a supernatural horror movie with like a very prominent sex scene and a buildup of corpses, correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so in Italy at the exact same time, there was a series of movies doing the exact same thing. And that was the Giallo boom.
Exactly.
Which was really given like a shot in the arm in 1970 with Birth of the Crystal Plumage, and the like peak years of Italy making like 40 of these a year was 71 to 74.
Yeah.
And so Don't Look Now was released in the middle of that, set in Venice, has just as much bodies, weird editing, cyclical time jumps, and like emphasis on sex as those films did. And in Italy and Germany was retitled. In Italy, it was retitled to In Venice, ... A Shocking Red December.
What?
Yup. ...
And
in Germany, it was given an even more giallo title, When Gondolas Wear Grief. So my question for you
oh my God.
is Don't Look Now a giallo film?
I would say no, actually, because it's missing I think it's structurally it's missing like the killer blacked glove POV, but that's a quibble. I also think has different interests, like giallo, and again, for the 1000th time, I don't mean this pejoratively. Giallos seem to have like lurid intentions, and I don't think that this does. But I could be convinced otherwise. I don't feel strongly either way. What do you have an opinion, Drusilla?
I think I classify this as a giallo film. I classify this as like the high art giallo film that like snuck in. Not every giallo film has a black glove killer. Not every giallo film even has a killer. If you look at the like kind of female-led gialli of the late 60s and early 70s, like Umberto Lenzi's Orgasmo and Paranoia, and like the forbidden photos of a lady above suspicion, they're all about like female hysteria that are then backed up by like blackmail and like rape and things like that. It still fits into those molds, plus having the kind of supernatural elements that like Dario Argento would start to bring into it.
Like Suspiria, etc.
And it still does have a pileup of bodies, a killer of a kind, and it also has the foreboding like mood of Venice. It has a bopping Pino Donaggio score, so I think it counts. However, if you like, there is also weirdly enough another giallo film that is much more like overt and sleazy. That is also about a mustachioed non-Italian actor in Italy looking for his lost daughter, but it's much more standard affair sleaze.
Yeah.
It's called Who Saw Her Die, and it stars a post James Bond mustachioed George Lazenby.
Yes.
And it's amazing, and I would kill to do a double feature of these two.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, I guess, I mean, look, Drusilla, you're much more learned than I am. So if you say it's a giallo, then I'm happy to accept that. Just to me,
I mean, I don't think culturally
it doesn't feel trashy and lurid like a giallo does, which is the big difference to me. Like tonally,
okay, but
it just doesn't
Suspiria
feel like
is not trashy and lurid. I mean, it's
yes,
lurid, but it's not trashy.
It totally is trashy. I love Suspiria, but it's got very lurid intentions.
I think it can be lurid without being trashy. I think you can do them separately.
I mean, again, I don't mean trashy in a mean way. I just mean it's just like it's sleazy, it's lurid. But yeah, you're probably right, and I'm probably wrong because you're smarter than I am. With that said,
this is incorrect.
Listen, if we were talking about novels or theater or something that I know more than you about, I but we're not. We're talking about movies, which you know more about. With that said, it is time to play our favorite game, Have They Seen It? The game where we speculate wildly about whether a certain notable figure has seen the movie and what they think about it. Anyone want to go first?
Well, I think
first.
We've already brought up the really obvious one of Warren Beatty and proven that, yes, he has seen it.
He's seen it, not a fan.
Yeah, but the one that I want to ask, considering that we've already mentioned him, is, do you think Kiefer Sutherland has seen this? And what do you think Kiefer thinks?
I think yes. And I think he feels the same as all of us. I feel like as a young person, he would have found it boring. But now as a middle-aged man, he really likes it and appreciates it. That's my guess.
Do you think he skips the sex scene?
Probably. Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think, Christian? You don't think so? You think he's
if my
off to
dad...
his dad? I'm joking.
Yeah, I mean, if my dad was Donald Sutherland in 1973 in an afro, yeah, I would jack off to my dad. Why? I have a... sorry, I don't mean to...
No,
we're playing a game right now. Why is he hot? Because he kind of isn't, but he is.
I actually don't find him hot at all.
I find him hot in this.
I can understand why.
But I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
He's hot in the way like a Picasso is beautiful.
I mean, I think a lot of people would say that attractive wise, this couple is not matched. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
totally.
Julie Christie is so conventionally beautiful, but I can understand them together as a pair anyway, because he does have that je ne sais quoi, as they say. I don't know what it is, but
I feel like Donald Sutherland this falls into the camp of another 70s male actor that we have also thirsted on this show about before, which is Oliver Reed. I feel like they both kind of have that very 70s like daddy quality.
Well, Oliver Reed has like a more machismo. Like Oliver Reed has dom top energy. Frankly, like it feels like he would choke you. It feels like he would pull your hair and say nasty things to you and be like the shittiest boyfriend in the world. In that way, that a lot of us secretly think is kind of hot. Donald Sutherland doesn't have that. He has like sweet, sensitive art school boyfriend vibes.
Totally.
You know, like the boy who like drew on his Converse and like always hung out in the art room. That's Donald Sutherland's energy to me.
He's hot because he's such a large person with large features, and yet it all feels so soft and so approachable. That's what's hot, I think. Do you think Lana Del Rey has seen this? It's me, a little Venice bitch.
I feel like no. But I think that she's seen photos from it.
And she's like, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like she's seen like aesthetic moments from it, or is actually referencing aesthetic moments from it without even perhaps realizing it. I love Lana Del Rey. I'm a big stan. I actually don't think that she's that bright. I think that she's got really good taste and is drawing from really cool things without really realizing what she's doing. So.
I'm gonna be meaner and say that no, she hasn't, but she tells people she has.
Ooh,
I think that's probably true. I had this question when I saw, speaking of Donald Sutherland and Lana Del Rey, I went to a screening of Day of the Locust, which is like a classic Hollywood dark movie.
So much.
Brilliant.
Honestly, scarier than Don't Look Now.
It's so scary. The end is so fucked up. But the whole movie, I was like, I wonder if Lana Del Rey has seen this, because it's just like all about that doomed Hollywood aesthetic. And I feel like she would really draw from Day of the Locust.
Yeah.
My person is, okay, so this is like one of the classiest movies I can think of. And so I was like, who's the classiest person I know? And I want to know, do you think Michelle Obama has seen Don't Look Now?
It's funny that this is the classiest person you can think of.
I know,
think she's
that is what's
so
sending me
classy.
Wait,
you don't think
right.
Michelle Obama is classy?
I guess you're right, but if you're telling me to like figure out the classiest person I can think of, I guess I just don't go to government.
I mean, Michelle Obama is an iconic first lady, iconic Capricorn queen.
Michelle Obama, I don't know.
I feel like she would have seen it in college. That's my guess.
I
don't know where she went to college.
I think Sasha's seen it.
You do? I think Michelle's way more likely to have seen this than Sasha.
Oh,
Although
Sasha's definitely
cool.
seen this. I ran into Sasha at the New Beverly for a Fassbender double feature.
That's amazing.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
She's
has taste.
Much cooler than I thought she was.
Yeah, she was there for Fox and His Friends and Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant. Like,
first of all, that's a great double feature.
Talk about a 70s movie with a lot of perms.
Yeah.
I think Michelle Obama has seen it because Sasha told her to watch it.
But did she like it?
She's like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I think she has big mom energy in the way that, like, if she's seen it, she saw it either like once when she was younger or once later in life at someone's recommendation, and she didn't really get it, but she's very polite about it in conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I counter Michelle Obama with somebody who I think of as like kind of her opposite, somebody who's like bankrupt classy or fake classy? Do you think Jordan Peterson has seen this movie? Quote unquote public intellectual, new alt-right conservative Jordan Peterson.
I think he has seen this movie, and I think he loves it, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I think he's like,
see that actually.
Finally a movie where a woman is a woman and a man is a man, or something shitty and toxic like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I said about how like this whole movie's about a man being tricked by all these women around him.
Yeah.
He's the only virtuous man who's standing against their feminist and he pays the price for it. And like, shut up. And he only saw it because he heard about the sex scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he didn't like that sex scene, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't like the editing of it. He wished that he just wished it was like normal and straight.
Yeah.
He doesn't want them getting dress sections.
No.
Yeah. Well, I think that's about all the time that we have for this week. Drusilla, what are we watching next week?
We are taking a trip a little further east on your recommendation, and we're having a little bit of fun, quote unquote, with Takashi Miike's Audition.
Yay! And Christian, where can people find you?
In East Hollywood.
The intersection of Sunset and
No, people can find me on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is CHR Tucci, and I post illustrations, cartoons, drawings, almost daily. Yeah, but not always. Whenever I have them.
One time I was had my phone like Siri was narrating to me my notifications, and it was like Kentucky has messaged you on Instagram. It read your name as Kentucky. Sorry, Drusilla, where can people find you?
Instagram and Twitter at Hyde Sister, and you can find my work at sisterhydedesign.com. And what about you, Josh?
I am at Joshua Conkle on Twitter and Instagram, and the show is on all the socials too. Bloodhouse Pod, HAUS, and you can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having
see you
me.
next week. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.